Hey crypto traders, checking in on Bitcoin. We're back to daily videos, so we know the action must be hot. That being said, back in 2017, we were having views of 10,000 to 12,000 on a daily basis, and now we're at 3,000 to 4,000. Very big difference in comparison. But Bitcoin bulls are looking at all-time highs, and we're continually watching what the altcoin space is doing as profits are rolling from one coin to the next. We're seeing explosions and fast, hard gains, and it's a lot to keep our eyes on. Stay tuned. We're doing a Black Friday sale for the crypto alert system at traderpro.com. 40% off for 2 months of the premium alerts. Use the discount code BLK40-crypto. And certainly in this market environment, we want to be focusing on the oversold alerts, as the overbought indicators mean much less in this bullish of an environment. And we consistently see bounces on lots of time frames, 15-minute, hourly. Can't wait for the 4-hour oversold bounce whenever we get that next. But watching the oversold indicators much more closely than the overbought indicators as long as we are this bullish. Thanks for your attention. Let's get to the charts. All right, so it's currently 1 p.m. Eastern. We have the Bitcoin bulls right up at the highs. We had the 15-minute EMA 12 as a great guide of support. We lost that level, so I immediately zoom out and look for an hourly higher low. And at this point, if the low of consolidation, 19,100 holds, then it's an hourly bull flag. If that level were to break, I would zoom out and look for a 4-hour higher low to then try and form at that point. So we, like most charts, we can draw rising wedges on different time frames, and we've got one on Bitcoin as well to be paying attention to. A little bit more like a channel than a rising wedge, but it's a resistance level to be watching, and we'll check in on ETH in just a second because the hourly rising wedge ended up playing out. Not a ton of bear follow through, but definitely indicated a temporary top. So looking at the daily chart, we know the bulls are in complete control. Daily bull flag has confirmed. Cautious protective bulls are using 17,600 as a stop level now. If that level were to break, we would likely lose the daily 12-period EMA for the first time in 6 weeks. Losing that level for the first time will be a very notable development when it takes place, but obviously not taking place at the moment. All-time highs in sight. And the pattern that we're noticing in comparison to altcoins is while we are consolidating, and this was Bitcoin on the 12-hour chart, and we had inside bar, inside bar, inside bar, pretty much a day and a half in a row of sideways, and that's when the altcoin space went nuts as far as a lot of individual names breaking bullish. So sideways is the environment that altcoin bulls want to see the most, because if Bitcoin were pulling back, it would lead to the altcoin space likely pulling back as well. We would then have to gauge, is it pulling back harder or softer? But sideways, hold bullish and trade sideways allows for the altcoins to run wild. Then once Bitcoin sees momentum regained and we hit new highs, then the dominance goes back to Bitcoin. And especially the next time it happens, when we hit all-time highs, we know that dominance is going to be looking, or I should say attention is going to be back on Bitcoin for that all-time high. So we saw a significant move. Key supports held. We had 4-hour support. One was at 18,000 and one was at 18,158. We broke one support by $100. We held the other support by $50, and then it was just a V-shaped recovery. As soon as that support level held, we went $1,000 with really hardly even any 15-minute consolidation. And that's when the dominance chart started seeing a significant bounce again because the dollar volume was pouring into Bitcoin. So looking at ETH USD, we had the hourly rising wedge, and it got so tight. And this resistance line would extend down further, and it would hit all these levels. Might as well do it. So all those resistance levels continue to be hit. And then we had this uptrending support that broke bearish. And not only did it break bearish and bulls bought that dip, we then double topped and rejected from the back test. And now we are in a tightening range, a sideways range. Hourly higher lows, 587, 592, 593. And as far as the 4-hour chart is concerned, could this be a bull flag? Yes, if 587 support holds, ETH USD is a 4-hour bull flag with EMA support. If that level breaks, then it's not a bull flag. So 587 is the most important short-term support level. And I was exiting some of my long position into strength because of that rising wedge. and we keep fluctuating below where I sold, above where I sold. So I'm just being a little bit patient on ETH before I make any re-entries on the half position that I scaled out of from my swing. Again, no interest in exiting Bitcoin at this point into strength. ETH BTC, big pullback. We are looking for a 4-hour higher low, but then we're going to look for a 4-hour lower high on the next bounce. And as I keep saying, the most important factor and the hallmark of a really strong altcoin is when the US dollar pairing and the Bitcoin pairing are tick for tick doing the same thing. And look at how this shifted. Look at the 4-hour time frame for ETH USD. Very little consolidation, held the EMA 12 support, and we can say that correlation between the Bitcoin and US dollar pairing broke, and the Bitcoin pairing dropped harder. And the rest of the coins that we're going to look at, you'll find that the strongest coins are still tick for tick correlated, and we can observe when the correlation breaks, when the correlation starts for the first time on a coin where it has not been present, and those are clues as to who's going to be the strongest coin in the short term next. LTC USD. So bulls keeping control here. Again, another rising wedge that we got to be cautious of. This 4-hour chart. And you could draw that resistance line a number of places. That's where the support line would go. Look at all those touches of this support on the way up. Bull breaks with a lack of follow through. And we just have to be a bit cautious. If we break this wedge bearish on the 4-hour time frame, we know daily consolidation will then be underway. And with that rising wedge, look at the LTC BTC chart on the 4-hour time frame. Did we already break it bare? And we did. So there's a bear break. 4-hour higher lows have been lost. So again, I look at the US dollar pairing. 4-hour higher lows have not been lost. So I can say the correlation has shifted just like ETH BTC. And that is showing us Bitcoin dominance is seeing this bounce. The Bitcoin dominance chart from here, we can see it's a bullish reversal candle on the daily and a volume climax trying to happen. And what we need to see is that 4-hour trend change. So we topped out on the lower high, rejected from 4-hour EMA 12 resistance, and now we're looking for a 4-hour higher low to form. If we are going to confirm this 4-hour trend change, in my opinion, Bitcoin needs a new all-time high. And that is what would be the attention grabber for that continued bull move. If that takes place, we then zoom out and we look for a daily lower high to be the result of that bounce. And that daily lower high being set would definitely be the time to focus back on the altcoins again. So that's what I'm watching for. If Bitcoin gets all-time highs, I'm watching for a 4-hour trend change confirmed on the dominance chart. And then we zoom out, and over the next couple of days, we watch for the daily lower high on the dominance chart to help us look back at the altcoins again, or at least time when to look back at the altcoins again. XRP USD has been a monster and tons of volatility. I mean, from the high of the yesterday, or I guess that's today's candle, high of today to that low, that's a 30% pullback and a beautiful bounce as well. We then saw a 23% bounce. There's opportunity in both directions. It looks like a climax candle on the daily. Look at the volume with 5 hours to go. Big upper wick. I'm watching for a 4-hour lower high. So high of the breakout, low of the pullback, scouting a 4-hour lower high. Bears are going to be looking to top fish 79-cent resistance, looking for that 4-hour lower high. That being said, if we get it, we're then just going to look for a higher low and watch that EMA 12 support as a potential guide for that higher low over 56 cents. 15-minute RSI hitting oversold is where that bottom at 56 was found, and it lined up really nicely with that 4-hour EMA 12. I always love when my oversold RSI levels on whatever time frame I'm watching line up with an EMA support on a longer term uptrend. That's when I have more confidence. So if I'm watching an hourly uptrend in stocks, I'm looking for 5-minute oversold conditions to be touching that hourly EMA 12 for me to begin looking for that bounce. XRP BTC, you can see it's still the same correlation. So we haven't changed that. Little climax, 4-hour higher low off EMA 12 support, inside bar bull break. We're watching for a 4-hour lower high. It's the same setup still. So we have not lost that correlation, which is a good sign for the bulls. That being said, we have to keep paying attention to it. And it's also notable that we have not lost that correlation while the dominance chart on Bitcoin did see that bounce. YFI USD. Forget why I drew this. I assume I was looking for a 12-hour lower high in yesterday's video. I would have to go back and watch. But if I were, it worked out. So 12-hour lower high set at 27,200. And now we're seeing, can the bulls hold 21,420 for a 4-hour higher low to form? That's the 12-hour. So daily inside bar broke bullish, but only by $40 and with no follow through. And again, it's the inability to confirm a 4-hour trend change. We just have to see a clear higher low and higher high, which has not happened yet. So at this point, we need to hold 23,200 and break 26,400 to try and change that 4-hour trend. And at this point, just trading sideways, still working on that daily higher low to try and form. But clearly the bulls have lost their short-term momentum. It was the leader on the way up, and then attention went elsewhere. XLM is definitely getting some attention in the short term. Just an absolute massive move up. Again, high risk, high reward, tons of volatility. On the 4-hour time frame, we topped out at 19.5 and then pulled back to 14.1. And that's a pullback at 25% or so, and then straight into a 30% bounce. So we have to be cautious if this bull break of 19.5 doesn't get any follow through. That's when we start watching for our rising wedges, but no bear follow through on that bull break at the moment. So anything above 14.5 is an hourly higher low. We would have to lose the hourly uptrend without breaking 20 cents for there to be a short-term red flag. And that short-term red flag would just be a resistance break with a lack of follow through. I was watching this one trade, and obviously it depends on what exchange you're looking at, but you got to be real cautious. We were seeing 5% spreads between the bid and the ask when it was getting wild and things were jumping around. But perhaps XRP profits filing into XLM and a little bit of dollar volume, I guess it's a lot of dollar volume, going a long way to just absolutely blow these charts up. Link USD, so 4-hour higher low being set, the daily time frame, it's got a slow grind up going, and it's definitely bullish in that regard. And the 4-hour uptrend is going to be our short-term guide. But I look at the Link BTC chart, and I look at the 4-hour, and I compare it. Actually, let's go to the daily. So I look at the daily chart, and I look at the daily chart of Link USD. Are they correlated? And the answer is absolutely not. Right now, Link USD is a daily, or Link BTC is a daily equilibrium. We broke resistance with zero follow through. So low, high, higher low, bull break, and zero follow through. So struggling to even get a 4-hour uptrend going while we have a very clear 4-hour uptrend on the US dollar pairing. So that just tells us that Link bulls are not going to, explode and outrun Bitcoin and see all this hype and attention unless this Link BTC chart starts to get some work going here for these bulls and get this weekly bounce to see some follow through. So again, compare the Bitcoin and US dollar pairings, because the strongest coins pretty much every single time will have their Bitcoin pairing doing the exact same thing as the US dollar pairing, and they'll both be in very strong uptrends. So let's see if XRP gives us that 4-hour lower high. Let's see if the Bitcoin all-time high remains in play overnight. And let's see if the 4-hour dominance trend can change if we do see a new all-time high. That's where we stand in the short term. Keep walking those stop losses up if that is your game plan. And we'll check back in tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Do good things. Chapter 3 of Road Trip to Yellowstone 2009, I guess is when that was. See you tomorrow.
Getting to day 3, the trip.
What are we doing?
We're
See you.
hiking on our third day of the trip. Yellowstone River right here. Dan, where are we going to today?
Today we're going to H5, I believe? 3?
3 or 5? We're not sure.
H3 or 5.
We're gonna have to check the map.
We'll see. We're looking for a spot in the river to dip. Nice little dip. And we'll take it from there.
Yeah, the water's pretty cold, so
Water is really cool.
we're gonna have to see. Check out that mountain. That mountain is crucial. That thing's big right next to us. That water is freezing. Oh, it's freezing.
It's pretty chilly. We're all gonna get on the log. Go at once.
Imagine if all 4 of us just float down the river.
Choosing
What if this log starts going?
choosing carefully.
I don't know how good the camera's gonna pick this up, but this is our sunset for camping night number 3. Oh, it doesn't get it. There's some light coming from over the mountains. It's really sick. Streams of light. And sun's going down over here.
Crazy sunset right now. Some purple and pink clouds. Oh, that one looks sweet. We got the whole sky turning colors here. Look at this sky.